Hello, hello. Hi, hi, 2 1. Hi, 2 1 2. Hi, 2 1.
MC. I need to sanitize it. You're okay. So, but you will. So this one is not working.
It's working, but it's for the speech end.
So this was I. It's on. It's on. It's
So
on.
if you want
It's
to talk,
on.
you so but this rather is on.
It is on.
So as soon as you
Distinguished guests, graduates, kindly rise as the academic procession files to their seats, please. Thank you very much. You may kindly take your seats. Thank you very much. Our distinguished guests, graduates, good morning to you all. It is certainly a beautiful morning, and certainly an exciting one at that, especially for our graduates who are having their moments of glory and crowning today. Just by way of introduction, my name is Rosemont Aite. I head the Corporate Affairs Unit of the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. And it is my pleasure to co-host this ceremony with Mr. Sanda Musa, who is the Assistant Registrar for KAIPTC. May I say that today's event is indeed special and distinct. Why? Because we are here to reward and celebrate the achievements of our graduates from the executive, regular, and weekend cohorts of the Master of Arts in Conflict, Peace and Security, Master of Arts in Gender, Peace and Security, and for the first time, the first graduates of the Doctor of Philosophy in International Conflict Management Program. Well, I can't wait for the program to get started, but just before we do that, may I humbly share a couple of housekeeping notes. As we are all aware, we know the times we are in and the critical need for us to keep ourselves safe and each other also safe. So may I humbly urge us all to keep our masks on throughout the program and to wear it correctly, making sure it fully covers our nose, mouth, and chin. And as you can see, I'm doubly armed because unusual times call for unusual measures. To commence the program, I would like to invite Imam Kamani Al-Hassan, who is representing his colleague chaplain, who is yet to arrive, to give us the opening prayer. A round of applause for him, please.
Please, may I particularly the graduates and their families and the commandant and his entire team. We continue to pray. Allahumma ya muyassara kulla asir, yassar alayna wa ala al-alami kulla asir, wa taysiru al-asiru alayka yasir. These and many more blessings and grace we seek through your throne. Amen. Please be seated.
Thank you very much, Imam, for the prayers. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to respectfully invite Professor Martin Morgan Tuli, who is the Deputy Rector of GIMPA, to constitute this assembly as a congregation of Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration in collaboration with the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center for the purpose of admission to Doctor of Philosophy and Master of Art degree and award of prizes. A round of applause for him, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Members of the Governing Council of Kofi Annan International Peace Training Center, the special guest of honor, Sir Sam Jonah, the guest speaker, Mrs. Patricia Obunai, members of convocation, staff, alumni, students, graduating class of 2020, distinguished invited guests, the media, ladies and gentlemen, by the powers vested in me by the GIMPA Act and affiliation agreement with the center, I, Professor Martin Morgan Tuli, Deputy Director of GIMPA, on behalf of Professor Philip Ebo Bonzi Simpson, Director of GIMPA, hereby constitutes this assembly of the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center for the purpose of conferring various Doctor of Philosophy and Master's degrees and awards of prizes to deserving graduating persons of the center. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Tuli, for setting us rolling for this morning. It is my pleasure now to invite the Commandant of KAIPTC, Major General Francis Ofori, to give us his welcome remarks. A round of applause for him, please. Thank you.
Our guest of honor, Sir Dr. Samuel Ison Jonah, who is the CEO of Jonah Capital. Our guest speaker, Mrs. Patricia Obunai, CEO, Vodafone Ghana. The Chief Director, Ministry of Defense, Dr. Evans Jikum. Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, representatives of service chiefs, representative of GIMPA Rector, the former Commandant KAIPTC, colleague commandants, Air Officer Special Duties, members of the Executive Management Committee KAIPTC, members of the Academic Board, the Dean of Academic Affairs, lecturers, and invited guests from academia, distinguished guests, graduates, the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor for me to welcome all of you here, accepting our invitation and for honoring us with their presence. We are indeed grateful. As our graduates prepare to officially celebrate the end of a particularly challenging academic cycle, we share in their joy, having equipped them with the right skills to embrace any productive or dynamic enterprise. It is with great pride and honor that we are here this morning to see 140 students graduate from different programs despite extremely uncertain storms we all faced last year. These 140 students are coming from 7 countries: Cameroon, Chad, the Gambia, our homeland Ghana, Mali, Nigeria, and faraway Uganda. As a gender-sensitive institution, we can report that 62 out of the graduating students of 140 are female students, 44%, with 78 males. We are equally proud to award a doctoral degree to our first 2 PhD candidates. Many thanks to families, friends, and all who contributed in diverse ways to support our graduating students. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, if there's one lesson that COVID-19 pandemic has taught us, it's the fact that no country, no economy, no sector, and absolutely no one is immune from uncertainties. The year 2020 was characterized by a confluence of a host of uncertainties, which dramatically exposed many human and business security gaps globally. These gaps exposed the limitations of the state as the principal guarantor of basic security needs, and not even the most developed states were spared. Economic measures announced by different governments to safeguard jobs, rightly so, to guarantee wages and support the self-employed, may have proved insufficient. Our theme for this year's graduation, providing skills to meet business and human security needs in uncertain times, is therefore apt. We are also honored to have some of our own, but global CEOs address us later in the program. The quest for ensuring peace and security globally has been hindered from the onset of this pandemic. The surge in existing grievances and vulnerabilities in many states is a threat to destabilize global peace and security. This is mainly as a result of the different state interventions. Being perceived as ineffective in responding to the effects of the pandemic. And this is global in nature. The impact of the closure of many of our land borders itself has its own implications for citizenry. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the challenges and dilemmas of uncertain times reveal choices and decisions made before the onset of uncertainties. Although uncertain times do not announce their arrival, the measures we put in place, the skills we develop, and our attitudes before and during crisis will determine the impact they will have on us. In uncertain times, what then should be our response to business and human security needs? How can we build, nurture, and develop skills that will thrive through the uncertainties? And lastly, how do we intend revamping our activities to reinforce the pillars of security? It is essential to understand the multifaceted interaction between human and business security needs in times of uncertainties. The current uncertainty created by COVID-19 has impacted every dimension of human security, be it economic, food, health, environmental, personal, community, and political security. Breach in satisfying any human security needs tampers with existing business security. We have witnessed many business giants topple helplessly, while negligible small-scale businesses have risen to fame effortlessly during this pandemic. Very interesting. This reinforces the call for a people-centered, comprehensive, context-specific, prevention-oriented, protection and empowerment approach to ensuring human security and business security needs. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in times of uncertainties, there is a need to be adaptive and responsive. Ensuring business security is securing skills that will permit the needed adaptation and responsiveness at the appropriate time of need. It is therefore our objective to continue equipping students with academic foundation, analytical tools, theoretical and practical skills to bloom through uncertain times. There is a need to confront uncertainties through and beyond the crisis, build more resilient youth to face the current uncertainties within the global economy and any other future disruptions. Indeed, the youth have an essential role to play in shaping the post-COVID world. We all have individual and collective roles to play in ensuring sustainable and inclusive socioeconomic development. As efforts are made to save lives and overcome this menace, developing digital skills will be pivotal. The dependence on digitalized platforms like Zoom in the peak of the pandemic must encourage us not to upgrade our skills, not just to upgrade our skills in their utilization, but more importantly, to secure such platforms to prevent criminals from exploiting our ignorance. Indeed, COVID-19 means more digitalized payments, and therefore a lot more crime, and therefore cybersecurity. Distinguished guests, the evolution and widespread nature of this virus from a very small village in the Far East into a global pandemic must show us the importance of a collective problem-solving approach in times of uncertainties. The COVID pandemic has elaborated on the need for collaboration to fight a common enemy. Just as no country succeeded in preventing the virus from penetrating the frontiers, we need each other to survive and defeat the evolving threats and uncertainties we are facing. Finally, as we reflect on the events of last year, we are reminded of the passing away of one of our colleagues who was instrumental in the birth and growth of our research and academic programs. We lost Professor Thomas J. TJ, as he was affectionately called, a few months after he officially returned to his home country, Liberia. TJ worked with KAIPTC from July 2005 as a senior research fellow and rose to become the Deputy Director, Academic Affairs and Research. He contributed immensely in mentoring junior colleagues, training course participants, postgraduate and PhD candidates. He spearheaded the establishment of the Business Development Unit, which constitutes a vital feature at the center's current vision. To preserve his memory and works, our Work in Progress seminars series, which are held bi-weekly at the Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research, will be renamed Thomas J. Work in Progress Seminar Series. May he continue to rest in the bosom of his maker. To our dear students, I say congratulations for your perseverance and determination to sail through, indeed through the storms of 2020, and to complete the course successfully. To our two new PhD receiving candidates, let me say a special congratulations to you. The road has been long, but you are here finally. We appreciate the challenges you faced, the ordeals you experienced, and I know there were many times you thought of quitting. We are glad you persevered through it all. Today, as the first holders of the enviable KAIPTC Doctoral Degree in International Conflict Management, you are required to boldly and proudly work independently as professional researchers in peace and security studies and beyond. For all you graduates, I will insist on you going beyond your field of specialty, because your expertise in your own field is just a stepping stone to a wider research world. We are living in uncertain times, but we must equally understand and take advantage of the rare opportunities they offer. Never limit your potentials and capabilities in contributing to the wide range of research issues that need to be resolved globally. You are honor-bound to always present yourselves as distinguished ambassadors of KAIPTC, indeed the Kofi Annan brand. Build upon the strong foundation and expertise you have acquired and continue to make all of us proud. Remember, as you go out, as brand ambassadors, words from your mouth matter. To our faculty members, I say, Aiko, you were innovative, proactive, and assiduous in ensuring a flawless academic year despite the threats and uncertainties that COVID-19 brought to us. Virtual engagements have become a critical component of the game. May all our efforts be rewarded as we look forward to a brighter future. Our guest of honor and guest speaker again, another special guest, thank you for honoring us with your presence. Thank you again.
Commandant, sir, thank you very much for the welcome remarks. May I also, at this point, announce that this ceremony is live on KAIPTC's Facebook page using the handle at KAIPTCGH. Well, at this point, it's time for us to hear from our special guest speaker. And may I also add that we are blessed to have a special guest speaker and our special guest of honor, who are two distinguished personalities and transformational leaders in Ghana, joining us today and gracing the occasion today. At this point, to officially introduce her and tell us a bit about her, I would like to invite Dr. Naila Salihu, a research fellow at KAIPTC, to do that for us. A round of applause for Dr. Salihu, please.
Good morning, distinguished guests. All protocols observed. Our guest for this morning is Mrs. Patricia Obonai. Mrs. Obonai is a high ambition leader, combining a commitment to achieving strong performance with creating long-term value and building strong, robust social capital for the organization and community. With 25 years experience in telecommunication, she represents one of Ghana's leading figures in the telecom sector, that is Vodafone Ghana. Mrs. Obonai started her career as a network planning engineer with then Medicom Ghana, Tigo, before rising to become the first and only female chief technology officer in the company. She was instrumental in transformation of the Tigo network from an analog to a digital network while driving coverage extension. She was appointed the Chief Executive Officer of Vodafone Ghana in April 2019, having served in other directorship roles in the same company, including Director of Technology, Director for Fixed Business and Customer Operations, and then Acting Director for Business Consumer Businesses. Mrs. Obonai's commitment to female empowerment and diversity and inclusion are key definition of her leadership, outlook, and strength. During her tenure as Technology Director, she led in setting up of the Women in Technology platform, which focused on supporting and mentoring young ladies at the Ghana Street Aid, an NGO that provides refuge and vocational training for young and homeless girls. She was also instrumental in setting up of the Female Engineering Student Sponsorship Program by Vodafone to encourage and nurture young ladies to pursue careers in the STEM-related programs. These interventions have resulted in a record number of females in the technology function, resulting in high productivity and efficiency. She is a celebrated engineer and also a member of the International Advisory Council of West Africa STEM Hub organization. She's also on the advisory board of the Global Youth Academy, an international organization that provides a platform for outstanding young scientists from around the world to come together and address issues of global importance. She's also a member of the Executive Women Network. That's a network of women leaders that provides mentorship and support for other young women while driving advocacy on diverse female-related issues. She's currently the Telecom CEO of the Year at the Ghana Information Technology and Business Communication Awards. She has won several awards, including the Best Female Technologist at the Ghana Telecom Awards in 2012. She's also a distinguished alumni from the College of Engineering at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in 2017. Mrs. Obodai holds a BSc in Electrical and Electronic Engineering from KNUST. Also has an executive MBA in Project Management from the University of Ghana Business School, and also has several executive education from business schools from the UK and in France. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Thank you for your kind words. The Commandant of KAIPTC, Major General Francis Ofori, our guest of honor, Sir Dr. Sam Jonah, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the Governing Board and the Academic Board, generals and senior officers present, the Deputy Rector of GIMPA, distinguished members from academia in Ghana and abroad, the executive management team and staff of the training center, our graduates, distinguished invited guests, our cherished friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here, and I thank the leadership for inviting me to be part of this august occasion. I remember whilst growing up, when my sisters and I would engage in the usual sibling rants, my mother would place a bucket of water on the lawn and call us to meet her outside. She would say, "Here's a huge compound. My hall is definitely too small for you. And here's a bucket of water. Quench your thirst after your many bouts. I'll be inside waiting, obviously with a cane. Call me if you want to draw blood. We will cease fire immediately. Semblance of peace restored." Prof, I think I'll see you after the ceremony to find a name for this kind of resolution. I am aware that this training center has positioned itself enviably as one of Africa's foremost institutions, offering specialized training and policy support for the international community and for the governments across the continent. Join me in applauding the Commandant, the executive team and staff for making this institution relevant beyond the shores of Ghana. We are very proud of you. Dear graduates, we are here today to celebrate your enormous achievements and to recognize the hard work and sacrifices made throughout your period of study. I believe this is not the end of your academic pursuits, Rather, it is a milestone that heralds the beginning of another important journey. A journey which will see you utilize the knowledge and skills garnered here to contribute innovatively in finding solutions to the many challenges confronting the world today. Challenges that are particularly visible in our part of the world and for which you have been uniquely trained to resolve. The entire world is grappling with the devastating effects of the pandemic. Indeed, the impact of COVID-19 extends beyond the health sector. The pandemic has worsened the economies of many countries, changed the social life and psychology of many individuals, and placed tens of millions of people at risk of falling into extreme poverty, whilst millions of enterprises face the real existential threat of imminent collapse. As the Commandant said, we are in uncertain times. However, I believe it presents us with an opportunity to rethink and shape the future that we so desire. This makes your theme very relevant. What skill do we require to meet the business and human security needs in these uncertain times? Let me share with you 4 interesting thoughts. First, the global labor market is experiencing rapid change, and this will continue over the next decade. It is estimated that 45% of all current tasks could be automated with present technology, and I'm sure you've seen it in different aspects of your work already. Technology is advancing rapidly. Task-oriented, repetitive, time-consuming, little or no value-add jobs are being automated rapidly. This started with the 4th Industrial Revolution, but is now being accelerated by this pandemic. A few years from now, we say artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning, augmented reality, etc. will all be deeply rooted in our everyday lives, just like computers, phones, electricity have become necessities today. In fact, in Vodafone Ghana, we are using all these technologies I mentioned, and so it is closer than you think. It is vital that everyone in business understands some of the major technology trends that are underpinning the intelligence revolution we are seeing today. Read about them, understand how they impact your field of specialization. You will need to understand the major technology trends to be on top of your corporate game. Secondly, be adaptable. According to the ILO, COVID-19 related shocks to the labor market are expected to wipe out 19 to 22 million jobs and are significantly reducing earnings for the self-employed in Africa. There's an urgent call for professionals to reposition themselves and take advantage of the new opportunities. Jobs will be lost, but opportunities will be created. Before the pandemic, we were faced with a growing mismatch between the skills of our youth, what they were learning in school, and those needed for employment. And I see that every time I sit through interviews. In today's world, skills and technology change within 2 years or less, sparking redundancy done for laggards. Organizations are therefore in need of people who are able to adapt to new job roles, adopt new technology, and are happy to learn new skills. This means reskilling and upskilling will be required, and employees will need to support their employers will need to support their employees throughout the process. For example, if you're in marketing, you should start being curious about digital marketing courses. If you're in HR, start thinking about HR analytic offerings. The future is digital. And we have 2 choices: to be afraid and bury our head in the sand, or to step up to the challenge, embrace the exciting new digital future, and equip ourselves with skills so we are not left behind. In Vodafone Ghana, we have outlined 14 digital skills for the future, and we have launched the campaign, One More Skill. We encourage all our employees to go online and acquire one more skill. Doesn't matter that it is not directly related to your job. Things like blockchain, digital media, cybersecurity, software engineering, etc. They actually have an online university which are interlinked with other excellence resources like LinkedIn, Udemy, Udacity, Oriel, etc. This is our way of preparing our employees for future job roles. You can survive the new normal better if you have the skill of adaptability I am talking about. I entreat academia to partner with industry and incorporate skills training into the curriculum. Additional skills like problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, as well as developing a habit of lifelong learning will fuel your relevance in the future of work. Third, build collaborative relationships. The new normal brings extraordinary challenges of completing work whilst working remotely or engaging others to deliver your policies, your products and services in a very restricted environment. We have been working from home since March. You can imagine how we get our projects done. If you don't work collaboratively, nothing will get done. You must have what it takes to build collaborations within and outside the organization. You need to be that influential and have a network that helps achieve those shared objectives. Do a self-assessment and begin to deliberately develop it as a vital skill. I have been working on this and I trust you will do the same. Finally, the importance of data literacy. This is all about understanding the importance of data. This is fuel for the new intelligence revolution. Organizations have massive amounts of data available, and those who will use data effectively will clearly outperform the rest. Many organizations will no longer need people who can pull data. They need people who can extract insights from data and know how to turn this into valuable knowledge. Without the skill at work, data becomes completely meaningless. You will survive the new normal if you can develop the skill. In conclusion, I entreat you to bring your security expertise to bear in this increasingly digital world. I have no doubt in my mind that you have been adequately equipped with the knowledge and competences that will enable you to address the many challenges that society urgently seeks to resolve in a smart way. In the end, human beings will thrive on relationships. Where relationships abound, there's likely to be conflict. You are true champions of security and ambassadors of peace. And this is what the world needs right now. Go out there and make this institution proud. Once again, graduating class of 2020, accept my congratulations. I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Obonai, for those great nuggets of wisdom for now and for the future. I would now like to invite and hand over to my co-MC, Mr. Sander, to take us through the part on the conferment of degrees.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Commandant, Major General Francis Ofori, guest of honor, Sir Sam Jonah, the guest speaker, Mrs. Patricia Obonai, members of the Governing Council of GIMPA and KAIPTC, members of the academic boards of GIMPA and KAIPTC, faculty and staff of both institutions here present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I believe This is the time we have all been waiting for, and the time is here. At this moment, we are going to present graduates for conferment of their degrees. Graduates who will be presented are the ones who have fulfilled the requirements of the regulations and statutes of GIMPA and KAIPTC, and have been found to be worthy of admission into the higher degree of Master of Arts in Gender, Peace and Security and the Master of Arts in Conflict, Peace and Security. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, I will endorse you respectfully to kindly invite the Dean of the Faculty of Academic Affairs, Professor Kokuose PDA, to do the presentation of graduates for the conferment. Let's welcome the professor. Please.
Will the graduates of all the Masters of Arts programs stand and remain standing? I, Professor Kwaku Osehudie, Dean of the Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research of KAIPTC, by the authority of the Charter of KAIPTC and GIMPA, present to you, sir, those standing and those absent for sufficient cause, for whom I stand proxy, who have been found worthy in learning and in character to be admitted to the Master of Arts in Conflict, Peace and Security and the Master of Arts in Gender, Peace and Security. These degrees are jointly awarded by the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center in collaboration with the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration.
Dean of the Center, by the powers conferred on me by the Enabling Act of the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, as a representative of the Rector, I admit all those presented to the degrees due them. Aiko.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rector. As I will start calling the names of graduates, just as when I call, you file pass, and then you do what is expected. I'll start with the Master of Arts in Conflict, Peace and Security. Abuaku Michelle. Dioni Jocelyn Nana Ifwa. Pati Kwajo Ajabi. Aboshi Desmond. Evelyn Lolonyo. Ajay Mensa Posia. Akonken Musa. Amwa Maxwell Stephen. Achimani Wafi Tracy. Asamoah Esmond Nana Ose. Asante Maxwell, Ban Jocelyn Sylvia, Bayambe Yoda Richard, Duncan Wisdom Kwaku, Egbede Wisdom Feli, Diko Zainab Ibrahim, Maiga Amadou, Maloni Asibi, Mezetek Anthony, Yatepe Eminam Noreen, Okujato Paul, Odia Sempa the second Nana Kwaku, Kwe James Niklote, Konda Swala Abdallah, Sekidania, Segrechi Lisa Emofa, and Yisa Noah. I'll continue with the weekend class. Abugabi Eva, Amoa Nicholas, Alidu Yaya, Ayisi Isaac, Amaku Abraham, Amoa Ebenezer, Abi Mesa Christiana, Avuda Christine, Bara Kate Nana Jose, Beyu Yao, Bayesche Carl McCaffrey, Bronson Michael, Dola Enyonam, Dankwa Grace Akuswa, Duncan Devante, Echita Okaru Michael, Ibi Juliet Ayukunao, Eshen Betty Adjoa, Forjo Dylan, Bedian Bismarck, Grant Baba, Goba Faith Fafa, Koa Loriata, Lutrot Belinda, Manko Lorita, Lamicha Beredu Philomena, Okansi Joseph, Opom Set, Opuko Adudaku, Osu Ansa Samuel, Pomidin Christiana, Simaha Righteous, Tufo Ebenezer Adabo, Tete Vida Mamwe, Topo Stella Oboshi, Simpe Kobna Ukansa, Yusuf Mohammed Basit, and Yabua Pius Nimaku. We continue with the executive weekend. Aqua Alexander Akwesi, Adukacha Dominic, Afro George, Anka Philip McCaffrey, AUTV Ronald, Asiade Frank Selemu, Amon Afrida, Amego Selem, Eyu Faustina, Baby Francis, Bratton Adrian, Wakidanko Palmgrave, Bobo Hamidu Dahiri, Emyan Richard, Harvard Bernard, Hator Doji, Ige Michael Opei, Kumsi Joseph Kobna, Kumi Kinsley Kwamu, Kimi Geoffrey, Mensa Abna, Mensa Thomas, Mohammed Mutala, George Samuel Nati, Windam Martin, Olaburi Carl, Olumidu Charles, Otipeska Elizabeth, Olusu Lawrence, Ochritewia Nana, Kwasi Winston John, Kote Henry, Seydou Banasco New, Suleiman Bentier Alijata, and Secretary Princess. Last but not the least, we're going to the gender, peace and security. Apalua Edward Basinjiri, Abrefi Kezia Comfort, Adogo Ali Taslim, Agama Doris, Ayapo Nana, Alfa Yohaniza, Ali Fatima, Amano Asha, Amwa John Kelly, Samoa Gloria Aduki, Asar Bediaku Yadufa, Asar Loda, Asindi Linda, Atama Alberta, Atluk Alison Raji, Dubro William Christiana, Jikolu Josiani, Dankwa Nanaya Abuajua, Ejaku Shadrach Kojo, Ekuma Simon, Frimpong Elizabeth, Frimpong Jemima, Gabby Hayes Antoniette, Glover Evelyn, Jima Evelyn Kutoni, Hayford Selma, Jata Mary C, Kanye Magdalene Mary Awenyelia, Maunyaga Tehoda Gifty, Sokachi Mauni, Ndau Adam, Makato Diana, Manoti Josephine, Nketia Grace, Noble Apau Esnam, Muto Nuchi Elinam, Upon Usu Kingsley, Partington Georgette, and Teresa Kusi. Sit down. I've mentioned their names. Go. Thank you very much. Please, you can now move the room to the left. You are now left thinking. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Acting Rector, sir. The graduates may now be seated.
Commandants, we are continuing with the program. Every hard work must be rewarded. So therefore, this morning, we are rewarding two of our best students. One from the Conflict, Peace and Security, that includes the regular, the weekend, and the executive weekend. And then one student from the Master of Arts in Gender, Peace and Security. So first of all, we are going to start by rewarding the one from the Master of Arts in Gender, Peace and Security. And the name of the person is Magdalene Kanye. Miss Magdalene Kanye, I think you can come out and stand here But before the award is given, permit me, Commandant, to call on Dr. Ferdinand Kokudasu to read his citation for us. Dr. Kokudasu.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Sander. Our distinguished guest of honor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. I deem it a great honor to present to you our best graduating student. First, I present to you the best graduating student for the Master of Arts in Gender, Peace, and Security class. The best graduating student for Master of Arts in Gender, Peace, and Security goes to Miss Magdalene Awinyalia Kanai. Miss Magdalene Kanai enrolled into the Master of Arts in Gender, Peace, and Security program in June 2019. Before joining the program, she worked with the Institute of Local Government Studies as a lecturer and head of the Gender and Social Development Center for over 14 years. She also worked for almost 2 decades as a community development officer with the Department of Community Development and rose to the position of Principal Community Development Officer. Currently, she is retired from public service, yet she serves on a number of governing boards in both public and non-governmental organizations. She's very active in civil service activities, particularly in areas of gender, mental health, peace, and development. She has a passion for contributing to gender equity in less privileged communities, and therefore wishes to continue to collaborate with civil society organizations to promote and achieve a just and equitable society where the rights of female and male are respected equally. With the same zeal and enthusiasm for issues of gender, peace, and development, Magdalene was committed to achieving academic excellence during her one-year study at the KAIPTC. As one of the few senior citizens in her class, she has remained a stellar example of a mentor for the young women in her class. On your successful completion of the Master of Arts in Gender, Peace, and Security, and being adjudged the best graduating student, the Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research congratulates you for your excellent performance during your study at the KAIPTC. The Commandant, the Executive Committee, the Academic Board, and staff of KAIPTC laud you for being a remarkable example to both young and old. This citation is presented to you in recognition of your excellent performance. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Once again, congratulations. Can you please come up for the Commandant to hand you over? Go and give it to him. Go and give it to Commandant. Thank you very much, Commandant, for the award. The next award goes to Devante Duncan for the FCPS. And again, Dr. Kukudasu reads the citation for him. Dr.
Thank you once again, Mr. Sanda. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you the best graduating student for Master of Arts in Conflict, Peace and Security. And the best graduating student for the Master of Arts in Conflict, Peace and Security is Mr. Devante Duncan. Mr. Devante Duncan is an old student of Infancy School, as well as an alumni of University of Ghana, where he obtained a combined degree in political science and French, and the University of Bordeaux, where he obtained a diploma in the French language. His love for further education inspired him to pursue the weekend option of the Master of Arts in Conflict, Peace and Security in 2019. His diligence and desire for success spurred him to emerge as the overall best student in the Master of Arts Conflict, Peace and Security program with a grade point average of 3.7. His dissertation was titled Examining the Relationship Between Drug Abuse, Crime, and Violent Behavior Among the Youth, a case study of the Greater Accra region of Ghana. It was lauded as the best dissertation in the program, providing relevant recommendations for addressing the drug menace which continues to contribute to violence and crime while threatening the youthful population of the nation. Devante is an assiduous and ambitious young man with promising future. His research interests include global and African comparative politics, as well as international security policy. His goal is to become an expert in diplomacy and security sector development, and to make positive impact at the local, regional, and international levels, while also contributing his quota to the development of society. The Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research applauds you for your hard work and zeal shown during your period of study at the KAIPTC. The Commandant, the Executive Committee, the Academic Board, and staff of KAIPTC congratulate you for your splendid academic excellence. This citation is presented to you in recognition of your excellent academic strides. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kukudasu. Devante, you can come up to the Commandant to receive your award. Thank you very much, Commandant. Thank you very much once again, award winners. Yes, I try some.
Congratulations once again to the best students. At this point, I want to invite representatives of the graduating classes to make a presentation to KAIPTC. I understand that some of the classes, I'm not sure if all, are making presentations. So may we have the representatives to do that. Thank you very much.
The Master of Arts in Conflict, Peace and Security can come out. The Master of Arts in Conflict, Peace and Security Weekend can also come out. The Master of Arts in Conflict, Peace and Security Executive Weekend can also come out. The Gender, Peace and Security can also come out if you have your presence here. Okay, you can tell us what you...
Thank you very much, Assistant Registrar, Mr. Sander. Commandant, Dean of Students, respected faculty, distinguished guests, graduating students, ladies and gentlemen, once again, good morning. We are most grateful you could join us today for the graduation ceremony. We are very much appreciative of your efforts. We are very much obliged to give thanks to the school's administration for the immense contributions that they have contributed towards our course of study. From the entire class, we would like to say a very big thank you to Professor Ridier, Professor Albert, and Professor Amy for impacting so much knowledge into us as students. Professor Ridier helped us to discover who we truly are with his popular question, who am I? A question that found its way into the political circle with the chairman of the MPP Ashanti region asking the same question, this time around in a different way, who am I? To our respected doctors, in no particular order, Dr. Emma Benkrain, Dr. Fifi Edu Afo, Dr. Baila, Dr. Kweku Danso, Dr. Albert, and Dr. Festus Aben, we couldn't have asked for more. You spent most of your time inculcating in us the spirit of critical thinking and analysis. We are very much grateful to you. From the executive class, as the saying goes in our local dialect, once na or so from the class, we want to say thank you to KAIPTC and thank you to the academic faculty. We present to the school a Yamaha motorbike and a printer from the executive class. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think the keys will be made available pretty soon. The next class can also come and make their presentation.
The Commandant, invited guests, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to use this opportunity on behalf of the Master of Arts and Conflict, Peace and Security regular session, MCPS 9, to give a token to the school authority for their tremendous efforts they have done to impart knowledge into us. I will do that by saying that which distinguishes between human and beast is a heart of gratitude, a quote from Immanuel Kant. Based on that, I am presenting a laptop to the authorities on behalf of my class. Thank you.
On this note, I call on the Deputy Dean, Dr. Ferdinand Kukudansu, to come and collect it on our behalf.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Okay. We haven't finished. The gender class, the weekend class is also here.
There's a flame of life, it's burning in our soul. Together, shining in the night, we are one voice, we are one light. We're shining so bright, singing in the night. We are one voice, one light. We're shining so bright, singing in the night. On behalf of the Weekend Master of Arts in Conflict, Peace and Security 2, we are presenting an HP printer to the school. We are grateful. We express our unfathomable gratitude for imbibing in us the need for oneness, for unity, irrespective of our political affiliation, race, creed, and culture. We say a big thank you to the authorities of the school, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for presenting something to us as your alma mater. Thank you very much for supporting us. I now hand you over to Osman to continue.
Let me also thank the students for the gifts here at KAIPTC, and also for the blessing of that beautiful voice. Thank you very much. Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I recently read that in the past, people who sacrificed their sleep, who sacrificed their laughter and other joys of life were called saints, but now they are called PhD students. Because the journey to start and actually complete a PhD is one filled with all these sacrifices and more. And this brings me to one of the highlights of today's event, which is the conferment of the PhD degrees, and it is once more my pleasure to invite Professor Tuli, Deputy Rector of GIMPA, to do that for us. A round of applause for him, please.
Thank you very much. This is indeed a special conferment, and I would like to point out that you will be among the first few to receive the GIMPA PhD degree. So congratulations, and this is indeed a great achievement. Dean of the Center, by the powers conferred on me by the Enabling Act of the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, as a representative of the rector,
yes,
I admit all those presented the degrees due them. Congratulations. Ariku.
Sir, I, Professor Paku Osafidie, Dean of the Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research of the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, by the authority of the charters of KAIPTC and GIMPA, I present to you the PhD graduates found worthy in learning and in character to be admitted to the Doctor of Philosophy degree. This degree is jointly awarded by the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center in collaboration with the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration. Will the graduates stand and remain standing? I think for the robing, you should come forward, and the commandant and the acting rector will do the honors. Come to the middle.
You want to walk down? Our PhD graduates are Baku Mohammed and Hamon Kwatin. So the first one is Hamon Kwatin.
A round of applause, please. They deserve it, please. Thank you.
Our second man to be moved is Baku Mohammed.
Congratulations. Congratulations. The band should stand by to give us one more fanfare. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commandant. Thank you, Acting Rector. The graduates can now take their seat.
Dr. Bako, I may need to just call you back since you're giving us the valedictory speech to come right back and give us that. A round of applause for him, please. Thank you.
The
Commandant, our guest of honor, guest speaker, Chief Director, Ministry of Defense, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the KAIPTC Governing Board, senior security officer here present, the Deputy Rector of GIMPA, distinguished members from academia, fellow graduating students, distinguished invited guests, our cherished partners from the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great honor that I, on behalf of the 2020 graduating students of Masters in Conflict, Peace and Security, both regular and weekend, Masters in Gender, Peace and Security, both regular and weekend, Executive Masters in Conflict, Peace and Security, and the PhD International Conflict Management classes, present the valedictory speech on this important occasion. So soon, we are gathered here to officially receive awards of the fruits of what I see as a collaborative hard work between we, the graduating students, and the ever-resourceful faculty of this great institution. For some of us, this so soon is about 4 years. For others, it's about 2 years, and for the greater majority of us here, it is a little over 1 year. In each case, we say thank you to the Commandant and his able staff, especially the wonderful staff of the Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research. Not even the scourge of COVID-19 could deter the faculty and students from this valuable achievement. We are obliged to specially say thank you to Professor Kweku Osei-Hwedie, and let me assure Prof that the Osei-Hwedie is properly hyphenated there. Also, Professor Emmanuel Kwesianin, Dr. Emma Birkran, Dr. Fifi Ebuafo, Dr. Naila Salil, Dr. Kweku Danso, Dr. Festus Obin, Mr. Musa Sanda, Mrs. Maglet Akako, Ms. Rufempon, and indeed many, many others from the security post through the kitchen, the library to accommodation, and many other staff of this institution. These great individuals were always available to attend to our unending and sometimes seemingly annoying needs and requests. We thank them for their exceptional support, professional guidance, motivations, and encouragement throughout the period. We remember how Professor Eni will set practical examination questions that one can only pass by being analytical and not just reading reference materials. I'm talking about the kind of exams that even the whole library wouldn't help without putting on your analytical lenses. For those of us graduating with the first PhD cohort, we remember with nostalgic feelings of our first lecture in the games room, then to the syndicate room, to the multimedia hall, to the penthouse, and finally back to the games room, where we crown it all with what I will refer to as our first academic baptism of fire. This historical movement has great symbolic meaning to us, and this feeling has created in us a greater sense of attachment to this institution. We also pay tribute to the priceless contribution of the academic brains from other like-minded institutions, especially Professor Isaac Olawale Albert from the University of Ibadan, Professor John Mensah of the University of Cape Coast, Professor Yeroms of the National Defense College of Nigeria, Professor Kowa Gombe Ada of the University of Botswana, Professor John Akokari of Cape Town University, South Africa, and Dr. Frank Volker of Kennesaw State University, United States of America. And on a rather sad note, I add my voice to what the Commandant said earlier on. We will mostly pay tribute to Professor Thomas J., who passed on July last year. May his gentle soul continue to rest in perfect peace. We salute all these great academics for their sacrifices thus far. The outstanding contributions of the staff and rich resources of this great institution resonates with the widely acclaimed credence that KAIPTC is the preferred center of excellence, where peace begins and where military discipline meets academic dexterity. Those of us who have had the opportunity to serve in the Committee of Nations, either with the UN or the AU, can attest to this feat, as expressed by our compatriots who are compatriots from other parts of the world. Our foreign students among this graduating class and past ones have also echoed this assertion on several platforms. We therefore count ourselves very fortunate to be beneficiaries of this excellence and are indeed grateful to this institution. Let me also use this opportunity to acknowledge the backend supporters of each and every one of us graduating today, specifically refers to our families and friends, especially the spouses. It was on these notes that I say a very big thank you to my wife, Alima Tusule, and Mrs. Oponkwatin, the better half of my colleague PhD graduating student, for their immense support, patience, and sacrifices in the course of this long journey. Many of us here graduating today envisage this day as the end of a vigorous journey that we embark upon to acquire some knowledge and skill. But getting the degree is one thing, and what we actually do with it is another. And that is really what is important. The essence of acquiring a master's degree or PhD is to gain the acumen, especially within the arena of analytical thinking and problem solving. So let us take this day as the beginning of a journey to impact on humankind. Let us leverage on the skills and knowledge acquired to bridge the gap between theory and practice in the domain of conflict, peace, and security, against the backdrop of the gap between academia and research on one hand, and policy formulation and implementation on the other hand, is considerably wider in many countries in Africa, even in the face of threats such as violent extremism, political vigilantism, organized crime, and related security challenges. We can leverage on the skills, knowledge, and networks acquired to identify security problems in our communities and creatively and innovatively profess solutions. This way, we will not just make our positive impacts on humanity, but also justify the certificates awarded us, and also serve as good ambassadors to KAIPTC, and therefore make our trainers and this institution proud. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, security, we all know, is a vital prerequisite for the existence of humanity and the promotion of the development of individual society at large. We cannot, therefore, continue to solve security problems with intuitions or the try and error mindsets. Security solutions rooted in evidence-based research is the way to go if sustainability is to be achieved. I therefore wish to take this opportunity to call on governments and civil society organizations to reach out to academia and help bridge this gap between security research on one hand and policy formulation and implementation on the other hand. This, I believe, will solve the numerous traditional and non-traditional security challenges confronting us, either as individual countries or collectively as a continent. Whether in the areas of food security, economic security, health security, environmental security, personal security, community security, or even political security. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I end my statement with a big congratulatory message to my fellow graduating students, and also remind us all to endeavor to redouble our efforts in our quest to defeating the biggest international health security threat presently confronting the globe. I'm talking about COVID-19. Let's remember that frequent hand washing and sanitizing, 6 feet social distancing, less time in places, limited number of physical contacts, and above all, masking up at all times are just some of the few things we can do in our small ways in the battle against this threat. On this note, I say may Allah bless and protect us all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Baku Mohammed. I would like to now invite the band to give us a very short musical interlude before we move on to invite our special guest of honor to give us his speech. Thank you very much for those beautiful patriotic songs. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to another highlight of our event today where we get to hear the graduation address from our special guest of honor. You know how you get starstruck and spellbound when you meet a personality you've only heard of in the media, and you never thought in your wildest dream that you meet in person? Well, that was me when our special guest visited the center on Monday. And it's certainly a pleasure to see him again. I mean, you don't get lucky, just lucky in 1 week. At this point, I would like to invite my colleague, Dr. Anna Mensah, who is a research fellow at the Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research of KAIPTC, to officially introduce him to all of us. Let's welcome her with a warm round of applause, please. Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Our special guest of honor was born on the 19th of November, 1949. He was educated at the Adisadel College, and I'll insist on that. He's an old boy of Adisadel College. He also schooled in Camborne School of Mines in Cornwall and the Imperial College of Science and Technology, London. His career began in 1969 at the Obuasi Gold Mine. He was appointed Chief Executive Officer of the Ashanti Gold Fields Company Limited in 1986 and oversaw its growth from a one-mine operation into a multinational one. In 1996, Ashanti, which had listings in London and Ghana, became the first operating African company to be listed on the New York Stock Exchange. He became executive president of Anglo Gold Ashanti Limited, the world's second largest gold producer, in May 2004, when Ashanti was merged with Anglo Gold Limited. He has been decorated with many awards and honors. In 1994, the Camborne School of Mines and the University of Exeter, UK, jointly awarded him an honorary Doctor of Science degree. In December 2005, Ashesi University College, through its affiliate university in Ghana, University of Cape Coast, awarded him the honorary Doctor of Humanities degree. In 2003, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II of Great Britain and Northern Ireland and head of the Commonwealth conferred on him an honorary knighthood as Knight Commander of the Civil Division of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire. In 2006, he was awarded Ghana's highest national award, the Companion of the Order of the Star. In December 2004, CNN and Time magazine ranked him as one of the world's top 25 most influential business people, setting the global standards for management, ethics, marketing, and innovation. He is the recipient of 5 Lifetime Achievement Awards, the most recent awarded this year by the Albert Nelson Marquis. He is the Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Ghana, a former member of the board of Ashesi University in Ghana, a visiting professor of business at the University of Witwatersrand Business School of Johannesburg, and a member of its governing council, as well as a trustee of the Nelson Mandela Legacy Trust, UK. He was a founding member of the United Nations Secretary General's Global Compact Advisory Council, a member of the African Regional Advisory Board of the London Business School, served as a member of the governing board of the School of Oriental and African Studies and a trustee of the Camborne School of Mines. In 2003, he was co-chairman of the World Economic Forum held in Durban, South Africa. He was on the advisory council of the President of the African Development Bank and the International Finance Corporation. He has been an advisor to a number of African heads of state: Thabo Mbeki of South Africa, Olusegun Obasanjo of Nigeria, Gnassingbé Eyadema of Togo, and our very own John Ejekum Kufuor. In January 2013, he was appointed a founding member of Bank of America Global Advisory Council. He has also been elected as a foreign member of the United States National Academy of Sciences, the Engineering Division, for the recognition of his distinguished contribution to engineering. He was recently, in September 2019, appointed as the chairman of Helios Towers, UK. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, let's welcome our special guest of honor, Sir Dr. Samuel E. Jonah.
I have no doubt at all that all the very kind introduction that you heard, most of it will be lost on you, but one thing which should not be lost on you is that the commandant and I went to the right school at the Sada College. Everything else you can forget. The commandant of this institution, Major General Francis Ofori, our guest speaker, Mrs. Patricia Obonai, members of the faculty, graduating students and their families, ladies and gentlemen, all other protocol observed. Please accept my appreciation for the invitation to join you as a guest of honor at this very august ceremony. Allow me to celebrate the excellent accomplishments of our distinguished graduates drawn from not only Ghana, but also many parts of the world, who, of course, have all risen against all odds to make their mark in their chosen fields in these uncertain times. Your achievements are well earned, and you deserve to be celebrated. I must also recognize faculty members whose efforts made it all possible with their knowledge, expertise, experience, and above all, the patience of teachers. To all I say, Ayuko. You must, of course, not forget the excellent contribution that you have had from your spouses who have made all the sacrifices and made it possible for you to be where you are today. Ladies and gentlemen, as an iconic institution of higher learning, this center's invaluable contribution to the maintenance of peace and security on the African continent and beyond is widely acknowledged. Fittingly named after one of Africa's foremost icons, our one-time UN Secretary General, the late Busumbu Kofi Annan, who dedicated his entire career to serving the cause of global peace, this center has earned its place amongst the ranks of first-class citadels of higher learning. And I can assure you, I know as a matter of fact, that the late Kofi Annan was immensely proud of this association. I had the privilege and pleasure to be considered a friend. I did work with him, and I can attest to his unfailing commitment to the cause of a just and fair world. In 2002, I proudly received an invitation from him inviting me to be a founding member of the UN Global Compact, the laudable initiative he launched to encourage businesses worldwide to adopt sustainable and socially responsible policies. Our work formulated what became known as the 10 principles of the UN Global Compact. And within these 10 principles are embedded the ethical and operational skills required to navigate one's way in these very uncertain times. Ladies and gentlemen, the world has seen and has been through many uncertain times. But without a shadow of doubt, from early 2020 to the present, we have been witnessing one of the most intractable. We are in the grips of an existential uncertainty, an uncertainty that is bringing mankind to its knees. Not the HIV/AIDS, not SARS, not the Ebola, but something more insidious and devastating, the coronavirus pandemic, or COVID-19. This pandemic has had varied and devastating outcomes across the globe and presented significant challenges to economic and healthcare systems all over the world. No country has been spared. And if I may say so, this must be the most humbling experience in the history of humanity. Indeed, the pandemic has earned the epithet that was one reserved for death alone. It is a leveler. Today, global economic meltdown as a result of COVID conjures up images reminiscent of those from the 1929 Wall Street crash. Businesses are going under, and we are seeing unprecedented levels of unemployment, poverty, and increased inequalities. Sadly, these are the realities of the new world and the one that you are graduating into. Graduates, this must be of concern to you as you live here today with your new academic handles. The emergence of the pandemic has brought about the need for rapid and radical changes to the way we live and work. There is no longer business as usual. And as such, firms will be looking to recruiting and working with employees whose skills and competencies are matched with the exigencies of the period. I recently spoke to the head of HR of a major business organization, and I asked her for the essential skills employers will be looking for post-COVID-19 graduates. I was actually going to expatiate on the various lists, what is on the list. However, they've been so eloquently and brilliantly done by the guest speaker that I will skip, but I will never itemize them. She says flexibility and adaptability, tech savvy, communication and emotional intelligence, creativity and innovation, leadership skills. These are all desperately important skills which you need if you are going to confront the challenges that you face right now. And as I said, they were brilliantly all elaborated upon in the guest speaker's speech. But let me make a point that as important, I have no doubt at all, first of all, that your training, your studies here have equipped you with all of these skills in abundance. But as important as these skills are, I hate to tell you this, they will not count for much in the absence of jobs. And in this highly depressed global economic and business environment, jobs can only be created in an environment where there is peace, stability, and security. The nexus between security and development is well settled. And as Busumburu Kofi Annan himself said brilliantly, and I quote, development and security are inextricably linked. Indeed, Albert Einstein also put it just as brilliantly. It says, peace is not the absence of war, but the presence of justice, of law and order, and in short, of government. Ladies and gentlemen, in this regard, African countries, let's admit, have had a checkered history. In these very uncertain times, countries which would attract and create jobs are those which create the necessary conditions. In the last 3 decades or so, the African population has at least tripled. While population growth is often synonymous with economic growth, Africa's economic growth has not caught up with its population growth. Let me give you some examples. Nigeria is expected to add 60 million people between 2005 and the present. For the same period, South Africa would add 10 million. Sorry, Nigeria added 60 million people between 2005 and now. For the same period, South Africa added 10 million, Tanzania added 18 million. By comparison, United Kingdom, Germany, Italy, and the Netherlands combined contributed far less than 10 million for the same period. Despite these great numbers, a sizable proportion of these populations are without education, employment, healthcare, and other basic necessities, making it challenging for them to become assets to growth in their respective countries. For investors looking for secure countries to invest their money, a country with an uneducated workforce is simply not attractive. Our inability to secure job opportunities for our youth, in turn, affects our own economic well-being and, of course, our national security. Recently, a retired, very senior military officer of Ghana Armed Forces, in a discussion with me, grimly noted how the unemployed and the unemployable youth our education system is turning out is imperceptibly and inexorably creating battalions without uniforms, insignia, and command structure. It is a frightening metaphor. These are the reserve battalions waiting to be unleashed or unleash themselves on us. These challenges make the headlines. In the age of social media, bad news goes viral and no doubt affects a country's attractiveness as an investment destination. While asking how we can enforce peace on our continent, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we must ask ourselves how we can improve our education systems to make our youth more competitive so that our countries will be better in terms of attracting much needed investment and job creation. It is no doubt that we collectively recognize the importance of political and institutional reforms in creating an attractive investment climate, which in turn contributes, as I said, to the creation of jobs. We have to insist on better governance, as it is the cornerstone of our security. Uncertainties like COVID-19, HIV, climate-related tragedies are all force majeures offering thrust on us by a whimsical and capricious planet. We call them natural disasters. But what of the self-inflicted ones? They fall into the basket of man-made phenomenon called governance, bad governance, to be precise, and this is where I now turn my attention. Ladies and gentlemen, governance in very simple terms, and as you all know, is how we manage our affairs and resources to benefit all citizens. This management function we place in the hands of three categories of caretakers: the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, and one outsider, the fourth estate, better known as the media. It is the executive, legislature, and judiciary that are the drivers or the pilot seat whose compass is accountability. A weakness or a fault in any one of them spells doom for the entire citizenry. It is the inability of these three to hold together that has led to the nightmarish uncertainties of post-independent Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, the corruption nightmare has become so pervasive in our institutions that it has made it impossible for us to advance one step forward without going several steps backwards. Our judiciary, which we entrust to deliver impartial decisions in disputes, face serious allegations of corruption, which, if unaddressed, leads to loss of public confidence in the system. An Afrometer survey suggested that a good 80% of Ghanaian citizens don't trust the judiciary. This cannot be good news. Citizens have formed the belief that the outcomes of their legal matters are predetermined and that going through any litigation process is merely a waste of time. What a shame. To compound this, court processes have become unnecessarily lengthy, onerous, and expensive. Justice has become too expensive and inaccessible. The ineffectiveness of the judicial system in settling disputes sounds alarm for investors who are already skeptical to invest in businesses in countries that are already fraught with many challenges, but especially where there's an unreliable judiciary. The technologically and economically advanced countries I keep referring to are very intolerant of corruption, especially among public servants and corporates find themselves facing serious consequences, including jail time. As we've recently seen in the impeachment of President Donald Trump in the US, even presidents are not immune and are held accountable for their actions. It is critical to our security and development that we insist on the proper conduct and productivity of our lawmakers by reducing corruption in our institutions. Until laws are imposed and enforced to deter corruption, it will continue to severely undermine our development and national security. In short, ladies and gentlemen, for our nation to be truly secure and peaceful, we need to promote and reinforce the social economic welfare of our citizens. There is no justice or peace or security when one man cannot afford to put food on the table. Job creation is crucial to our collective well-being, and we have seen in recent years that private investors have been the driving force for this event, for job creation in economies, especially in the newer technologically driven jobs that are all too important in our new global economy. The inefficiencies in our governance don't favor job creation, and they devalue our worth to private investors. As we consider how to develop skills to meet businesses and human security needs, we need to start thinking about what actions we can take to address the shortcomings in our governance to be able to engender confidence in investors. We can no longer be complacent, because complacency is complicity and the enemy of progress. Ladies and gentlemen, I have mentioned emotional intelligence in one of the skills that will be required to make it in the new world. In the context of honing your skills to become more employable, I cannot overemphasize how important it is for our leaders and public figures to demonstrate this quality in their delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, words have the ability to build and to destroy. And if we need any example of that, we only have to look at Rwanda to see how a civil war was started when people were not careful with their words. Words are weapons of relationship destruction. Only recently we saw how peaceful transfer of power in the United States was almost undermined when militants took inspiration from the words of prominent politicians in that country. Near home, we recently witnessed a truly reprehensible rationalization for the absence of any condemnation, outcry, and commiseration for the killing of innocent and unarmed demonstrators at Techiman. A senior member of parliament justified the situation by likening these unarmed demonstrators to armed robbers who decided to be shot, who deserved to be shot. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us here are interested, most truly invested in keeping peace in our countries. Words, as I said, are weapons of relationship destruction. Therefore, you must all be sensitive about what we say. Indeed, I'm echoing what the commandant said in his introductory remarks. And wherever there are glaring abuses of human rights, we must all let our voices be heard. Indeed, I draw inspiration from what our president said during his inauguration in 2016, that all of us have to be participants in the development of our country. We should not be spectators. For far too long, we have been spectators. We have been complacent and allowed poor governance, corruption, and lack of accountability to contravene our human rights, weaken our institutions, and undermine our national security. As I draw closer to the end of my presentation, please permit me to paraphrase an American author, Robert Fulghum, in stating that peace is not something we wish for, but something that we make. If there's one thing that we have learned from the American experience over the last 4 years, in the words of Jenny Shipley, it is that peace is a fragile thing. It takes courage to secure and wisdom to maintain. Whilst this is not a small challenge, the late Kofi Annan once said, more than ever before in human history, we share a common destiny. We can master it only if we face it together. And he's right. Time for the gloom and doom to come to an end. We don't lack the human and material resources to create well-being for ourselves and others. The right mix of political leadership and citizen participation is all that is needed. You, my dear graduating students, can let your MAs, and PhDs make the difference. Today's ceremony is a symbolic rite of passage, ushering you onto a new pedestal where you will be required to make original and innovative contributions towards the creation of brave new worlds of humane, peaceful, secure, and and just input, wherever you are coming from or wherever you are going. I wish you well. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Sam Jonah, for giving us that sterling graduation address. At this point in our program, the KAIPTC would like to present some gifts to our special guests. So I would like to invite our commandant to do the presentation. And the first presentation would go to our special guest of honor. May I now also invite our special guest speaker for the presentation. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, Commandant, for the presentation of the gifts. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are gradually coming to the end of the program today. And next on our program are announcements. But before that, I would like to, on behalf of the Commandant, the staff of KAIPTC, to thank our special guest of honor and guest speaker for joining us today and making time to be here, especially recognizing how busy their schedules are. We are most grateful for your presence. Thank you so much. I'd like to also express our deepest gratitude to the Chief Director of the Ministry of Defense, Dr. Evans Jikun, for joining us today, sir. Thank you so much. And also to members of the Diplomatic Corps, to representatives of the service chiefs. Thank you so much for being here. I would also like to thank the reps of the commandants of MATS and GAFC for joining us to grace the occasion today. To the Deputy Rector of GIMPA, Professor Tuli, thank you so much, sir, for being here with us. Thank you, sir. So I've just been informed that Commandant Gapsi is here. Sir, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, sir. To Professor Tuli, thank you for coming, and to the staff of GIMPA who also came to support the program. We are most grateful for your presence. We were also joined today by members of KAIPTC's Executive Management Committee, members of the academic boards of KAIPTC and GIMPA, our graduating students, obviously, and their, some of their families who joined online, and would also like to thank the families of the graduates for their support throughout their journey. I would also like to thank members of the press who are here covering this event, and to all invited guests joining us both in person and online. Thank you so much for being part of this beautiful occasion. For announcements, I have two announcements on photography arrangements and on refreshments. After the reception of our guests, all graduates should kindly move outside the doors, using the doors on my left to move onto the stairway to my right, sorry. So graduates kindly exit the hall using the doors on my right to the stairway right in front of the car park and position yourselves there. There's enough space, so let's try to observe the social distancing. Then our guests would join you for the group photograph. After that, each class would have their individual group photographs in this order, so kindly take note. MCPS 9 first, followed by WMCPS 2, followed by EMCPS 6, and then MGPS 8, and then would have the PhD students also having their group photograph. Now to refreshments. For graduates, because of COVID-19 and because of the numbers, the refreshments have been packed and served under the tents on my left. So once you finish taking your group photographs, you can proceed to the tents, and they have been packed according to your classes. So kindly locate your respective program tables and pick one bag. Graduates are also kindly reminded to return the gowns after they are used today to the academic registry. Our guests would also take their refreshments in the anteroom of the command mess. Thank you all very much. At this point, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I now invite the Deputy Rector of GIMPA to dissolve the 9th congregation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We just witnessed a very beautiful ceremony under COVID circumstances, but beautiful nonetheless. And we've conferred degrees on truly deserving graduates who, despite the circumstances that we all face, have endured to complete their degrees. And as our guest speakers have indicated, you have acquired a lot of knowledge in your years here, but there's still a lot to learn if you want to be relevant in the current circumstances. So thank you all for being here. And on the powers imposed on me, I would like to declare the 9th graduation ceremony dissolved. Thank you very much.
Let me have your attention for a little announcement. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Council and GIMPA for adding one more professor rank to the center. And on this note, I'd like to acknowledge Professor Kwesieni and to say congratulations. Thank you.
I would now like to invite Lieutenant Colonel Ajiman to give us the closing prayer. Please, let's welcome him with a round of applause. He's coming from the back. Thank you.
Shall we please stand? We pray in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Gracious and merciful God, it is always in you that we live and move and have our being. So we thank you this morning for the gift of our lives and for the gift of each other. You brought your sons and your daughters from all walks of life to this noble and enviable institution, the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, to pursue higher academic laurels. Today, they have graduated, and for this, we thank you, Lord. We thank you for your profound care and protection, your love, and the graces that you bestow upon them that enable them to graduate from their courses. Father, help them, O Lord, to use the knowledge that they have acquired to advance and enhance the life of humanity. Grant them traveling mercies, O Lord, to their respective countries and respective homes. Continue to protect them. Let every step that they take be covered by your divine authority and power. Gracious and merciful God, we now ask you to bless the hands who worked so tirelessly in making the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center a center of excellence. Father, bless the governing board, the members of the Executive Management Committee, the academic board, the staff, and all who help daily in making today's graduation a success. Father, bless the Commandant, Major General Francis Ofori, under whose professional leadership today's program has been made a success. And for all of us who have come from far and near to come and join our brothers in their graduation ceremony, we also ask you to bless us in diverse ways. Protect us, Lord, within these challenging times in our lives. As we go from here to our various homes and respective places of work, let the blood of Jesus be our shield. Protect us from the infection of this deadly virus and help the whole world, O Lord, to find a remedy to this pandemic. May the Almighty God now bless us. May his face shine upon us, and may he be gracious to all of us. May he protect all of us from all harm. May he now bless us in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you very much, sir. And as we all keep standing, it's time for the recession, and our guests and the academic recession will be led by Mr. James Odro, the maize man, who is taking position in front right here. So he would lead the recession out of the hall. So all graduates, please take position on the stairs for the group photograph. Thank you very much.